Hello, 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 everybody. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you so much for joining our session today on an introduction to guidance resources. Now, I'm very excited to be here today to talk about this program. And so, as we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we'll be doing today and sort of set the stage for our session. So, number one, you'll notice that we are in the GoToWebinar platform, which is a really awesome platform to hold a webinar in. And I want to make sure that your team is comfortable utilizing it. So the first thing I'll say is that you'll notice you are muted and you don't have access to your camera. And I wanted to advise the audience that that is intentional and that is to prevent any background noise, distractions, or things like that, just so that we can focus very specifically today on the content and make sure that we're all on the same page. So, number one. Number two, what I wanted to mention to you is that because you're muted, we still want to make sure that this session is interactive. We want to make sure that your questions are answered, and we want to make sure that you have the space to be able to ask all of the questions that are on your mind. So the second thing I'll point out is that in the upper right corner of your window, you're going to see a list of icons. You're going to see a rectangle that has a question mark in it, and that is our questions tool. So any question that you have today, and let me be so honest, I don't mind when you ask it. So whether it's right now, 5 minutes from now, or at the end of our session, feel free to drop in any questions that you have in that question tool. And just to make sure that everyone can see it, they know how to use it, and they're comfortable using it, I want you to scroll over to that questions box on your tab. And I'd love for you to be able to let me know, just let's say, what is your favorite song right now? Or maybe your favorite movie. Go ahead and put this in the questions tool for me, and I'll be able to see some of those answers roll in. All right, so I'm already seeing a lot of answers, so I know that the team today knows how to use the questions tool. That makes me feel really good. Just for some fun, I'm going to list out some of the answers that I see here. I see some person put K-pop Demon Hunters. That person has a really great taste. Other person had the color purple. I see Housemaid, anything from Justin Bieber. I see The Giver by Chappell Roan, the Pit TV show, Jaws, Waiting to Exhale, great movie. I see we have a couple Swifties in the chat as well, talking about the Tortured Poets Department. I think that's the name of the album. So I'm seeing a lot of really great answers in the Q&A tool, so thank you for doing that. I did want to also mention that today's session, these sessions that we hold here in GoToWebinar, are often confidential. So what that means is that the best way to communicate is going to be through the questions tool. So any questions or anything you want to know, put in that questions tool, but there will not be a chat box where you can see all of the other answers. The reason for that is because often in these sessions, maybe not today, for example, but often in these sessions, people can be very vulnerable, and we want this to be a safe space where people share their thoughts and their feelings confidentially. So I wanted to make sure that the team had that at the top of their head. So thank you all for that. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to introduce myself. So my name is Robert Armstrong, and I am a project manager here at ComPsych. I've been with ComPsych for over 6 years, and I work in our Learning and Organizational Excellence department. Our job is to provide trainings and workshops, lunch and learns on a whole lot of topics about mental health, suicide, depression, breathing exercises, child care, elder care. You think of a topic, you name it, my team puts it on. Now, I'm not a facilitator by day, but I do work with a lot of our facilitators here at ComPsych, and I'm very comfortable with our content here today as well. So I'd love to be able to give you this introduction to the program to teach you all about the amazing benefits that are covered underneath this program that you and your household members have access to. I will also say that I'm not an expert in everything, though. So we have some amazing members of the Be Well team who are in the session today with me as well. and they'll be looking through the questions tool to answer any questions that are here today about the Be Well benefit. So anything that I can't answer, your colleagues from the Be Well team will be in that Q&A tool answering those questions. And like I said, make use of the questions tool. We do have some built-in breaks here today that have some where we'll have some time to answer Q&A, and then of course we'll answer Q&A at the end. Now, not a spoiler alert, but I will say, once we finish this presentation, I'm going to do a live demonstration of our website just so you can see it in real time. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I just wanted to thank everyone again for all of your patience. And I'm going to take myself off of camera so you don't have to see this for the entirety of the training. And I'll be jumping into our content momentarily. All right, so thanks again, everyone, for joining our session today. This is an introduction to the Guidance Resources program brought to you by ComPsych. We are your employee assistance provider. Now, we'll be covering a few key items today. For example, why this particular program, what is offered through the program and the resources that are available to you. What will the experience of utilizing or accessing these features look like? And then lastly, any open questions that we can cover. Now, when I think of a program like this, an employee assistance program, I really want to make sure that I and we at ComPsych are communicating this to those who need it most. And just a fact is that 1 in 4 adults suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder in a given year. And about 6 in 10 people with mental illness get no treatment or medication. So 6 in 10, 1 in 4, that's a lot of people. That might be members of your family, that might be colleagues that you work with, managers, maybe children or friends in your life who fit within this mold. And so Guidance Resources is a program that is put together to provide holistic wellness resources. So things like mental health support, financial support, legal support, and just the holistic point of providing you with these services. Now, we'll be covering today what the program is, what consists of it, but to give you a general overview, pretty brief, that we'll expound on in just a few minutes, is that here at ComPsych, as part of the Guidance Resources program, we offer fully integrated counseling, work life, legal, financial, and well-being services. And the key in this, so actually, when I do trainings like this, I often tell our audience, if there are 3 things you take away from today, make them be these 3 items. And so my first of those 3 key items is that your information is completely confidential. So I love to be able to explain to people that this benefit is confidential. So what I mean by that is that when you utilize the services, we follow, of course, all HIPAA and regulations to make sure that your information is confidential. But the simple way of saying it is that no one's going to know that you've utilized these services unless you choose to share that with them. Now, the participation in the program is private and voluntary. And of course, whether you're receiving mental health services, financial services, legal services, or other well-being solutions, your services are going to be provided to you by a licensed professional from outside of your organization. And so that's how we maintain that confidentiality. I like to highlight that because I know even in this world, in this society where mental health is much more commonplace to talk about, there is still that stigma of, do people know that I'm using this service? And so I love to highlight again that this information is confidential. Now, as I said, we will be covering the actual services, but before we do that, I wanted to highlight program access. So how do you access these services? There's a couple ways to do that. The first is you can call into our services at 866-365-0793, and that is 24/7, 365 access. So whether it is December 26th, at 2 o'clock in the morning, whether it's a Sunday afternoon, or it's 11 a.m. on a Monday. You name a time and a place, and these services will be available to you. So you can call 24/7, 365 to receive access to this program. Now, what's great about the phone accessibility is that every single call that is made is answered by what we call a guidance consultant. And a guidance consultant is a master's level clinician who is there to triage with you and make sure that you're not only given that in the moment support if it's needed, but also make sure that you are placed properly to the appropriate benefit. So whether that means a clinical benefit, a financial benefit, or a legal benefit, and so on and so forth, that you are provided that best solution possible. Now, this service is available to you, of course. It is also available to your household members as well. So if you have a spouse or a partner, siblings, maybe an aging grandparent or a parent who lives with you, they can utilize these services as well. Now, again, that phone number is 866 365 0793, and that is 24 7 365. In addition to the phone number, we do have our website, which is GuidanceResources.com. And we will go ahead and cover this website at the end of our training today. But we do have our website where, let's say, maybe you're more comfortable self-serving. I know for myself personally, I love having a website available because it allows me to do my own research first. So I encourage everyone to go onto our website, GuidanceResources.com, and create an account. Now, how you do that is, and again, we'll cover this later today, but you will want to enter your web ID of Virginia Beach, and that will allow you to create your own account and see what benefits are available to you. You can also download our Guidance Now app on the Apple App Store, or for an Android on the Google Play Store, and you can have this ready and available to you at the drop of a hat. Now, as I mentioned, we will be covering this throughout our session today. But again, these services and this access point, whether it's over the phone or through our website, is available to you and your household members as well. Now, before we move on to the actual services, I just wanted to pause there and see if there are any questions so far on anything that we've covered, or maybe anything that you're itching to get out. I'd be happy to answer. Any questions? All right, I see a really great question here already. So one person is asking, when you say household members, do they have to be on your insurance or your dependent? And so here at ComPsych within the Guidance Resources program, if they have the phone number that I just referenced, or they have the web ID that we're talking about, they'll be able to create and access the benefits. So the great thing is, as long as they have this information, they'll be able to access the services. One person said I put in the web ID on the app and it's not working. I'm going to go back one slide for just a moment, just to put this on here again. The web ID is Virginia Beach. That's VirginiaBeach. And when you put in that web ID onto GuidanceResources.com, it's going to prompt you to make an account with your own unique information. And yes, it is case sensitive for one question that was asked. And then I also see another question, probably more of a support, but the app is not working for me. I get to putting in Virginia Beach, but it won't go further. Okay. So if anyone is having any concerns signing up or having any issues within the app, I would say go ahead, and I believe there might be at the bottom of the website an email or a way to escalate a concern. If that button is not there for you, I would say go ahead and email a member of the Be Well team. At the end of this presentation, there will be an email that can direct you to that team. And of course, we do have our lovely Be Well team on this call as well. So actually, I'll actually take a pause there for a second, and I believe Stephanie White is on the call today as well. And Stephanie, before I move on to the actual program, were there any questions that maybe you wanted to answer on behalf of the Be Well team, or anything you'd like to add?
I'm not seeing any specific Be Well questions. I appreciate you addressing those that have come over. I would, for the question regarding accessing the app, please feel free to email us at bewell@vbschools.com. And additionally, if you are struggling with getting the web ID to work, as Robert advised, be sure that you're entering it in all capitals, one word, no spaces, dashes, periods, or hyphens. But again, if there are any other questions, we'll be here throughout the entire session, and you're welcome to email us as well at bewell@vbschools.com.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. I appreciate that. All right, so I see the questions are slowing down. If you have other questions, again, feel free to drop them in the Q&A tool today, and we'll go ahead and address them at our next pause. So the exciting part is here. We're going to be covering the actual program offering and resources. And so I do want to say that many people associate an EAP with mental health, and you're right to be able to do so. So one of the most popular aspects of our program is that you, as a receiver of this benefit, have access to confidential counseling and therapy. Now, we offer short-term counseling sessions, and the way that you access these sessions is by dialing into our services or accessing our website. Now, we offer a 5-session model per person, per issue, per year. And again, to harken back to my earlier point about 3 really important pieces of information to take away today, this is number 2, which is that it's per person, per issue, per year. And what I mean by that is when you dial into services, you talk to our master's level clinician, they triage with you to really hone in on why you're calling. Is there an issue with anxiety? Is there grief or a psychological issue? And so when someone calls in to access those services, you are you receive a referral to a provider in your local area who can help you within that frame. So whether it's psychological or grief or bereavement, and you receive a referral to a local counselor in your area. Now, that could be in January, right? You call in January because you're having relationship issues and you need to speak with someone about that. Then let's say in June of the same year, someone in your family or a close friend passes away and you're dealing with grief. You'll receive a set of 5 sessions for each of those issues. So when we say a 5-session model, that means per person. So anyone that can use this benefit, whether it's you or someone else in your household, they would receive their own set of 5 sessions. Per issue means like psychological or grief or bereavement, relationship issues, things like that. You'll receive 5 sessions for that unique issue. And that's also per year, so every 12 months. Now, I sort of look at the counseling as an episodic way to support you. So maybe you're stressed at work. Maybe you are looking to move, and the idea of moving is causing a lot of stress for you. Maybe someone in your life has passed away. So the EAP is really there to provide support to you in those moments when you most need it. Now, as part of our program, all of the clinicians in our network are highly experienced, and they're all master's level or PhD level mental health counselors. And they're all working with evidence-based treatments in a wide range of specialties. And of course, it can be for a lot of different issues like anxiety, depression, grief, stress in relationships, and a whole lot more. And again, this is confidential and accessible to you as well as your household members. I do want to make one differentiation though, which is that long-term counseling is different than short-term counseling. So long-term counseling is typically continuing treatment for long-standing issues. So that might be thinking of things like medicinal management or some sort of longer-term behavioral health diagnosis. That's something that could be best serviced by your behavioral health or your medical insurance. So in those cases where someone is calling for, let's say, an issue outside of the scope of short-term counseling, we will, of course, provide in-the-moment support to that caller, but we will make a referral to that benefit, whether that be a behavioral health benefit or a medical plan, and we'll make sure that that referral is made and that that person is assisted. Now, in addition to our mental health services, and this is my favorite part of the program, we also have integrated work-life solutions. So we offer work-life services, legal services, and financial services. So the work-life services are probably my favorite part of the program. So at ComPsych, we have a team of research specialists, and their job is to research resources for you. And so when I say resources, you might ask, well, what does that mean? And so what that means is that, let's say you are moving and you are moving to a new state and you've never been there before, you don't have family there, but you have two kids. Maybe we can help you find local childcare options for you. Maybe you have an aging grandparent or parent who is moving with you. You can find elder care options for them. Maybe maybe you haven't even found an apartment yet. We can help you find an apartment or a home, or maybe connect you to a realtor. Maybe you are looking for schools that focus on neurodiversity or other sort of components that could be important to you. But let's take a step back for a second and not just talk about the normal day to day. Maybe you are planning a wedding and you're looking for a DJ. Or maybe you have a child who's going to college and you want help finding scholarships. Maybe you are someone who's really into video games and you want to find local clubs that can assist you with that, or have some fun with local people to talk about video games. We can research those needs for you. So when you call in to utilize our services, I'm always very heavy on, let us know what you want and we'll try our best to make it happen. So when you give us that research, or you tell us, excuse me, what you're looking for, that team that I just mentioned, they actually will put together a 3 to 5 page research packet of information for you. So if you're looking, let's say, for an apartment let's say you're moving to Maryland and you're looking for an apartment in Maryland, and you need help finding a 2-bedroom apartment that is under $2,000 a month, that has in-unit washer and dryer. You can provide that threshold, if you will, to our team, and we will put together a research packet of apartments that meet that need in your local area. So that could be like phone numbers, websites, emails to get in contact with the local landlord. That can be price points and things of that nature. So we will go ahead and put together that research information for you. Now, in addition to that, we also offer legal services. So here at ComPsych, we actually have an internal team of ComPsych attorneys, and they are there to provide you with education and guidance. So that can be on a lot of different areas of law: family law, identity theft, custody, real estate, contracts and tax questions, and a whole lot more. Um, I sort of look at this in a unique way because myself, I do have, medical insurance, I do have a doctor, but I don't have a lawyer, right? I don't have someone that I can go to and say, "Hey, I have this legal question, can you help me?" Or I'm not sure what this how to read this. Can you help me? And I don't have anyone for that, right? So I imagine a lot of people probably are in the same boat as me. So if I were to call ComPsych and I were to say, "Hey, I'm, of this program, I have some question on family law. Can you help me?" We have that team of ComPsych attorneys who can provide you with that education and consultation, with you. And those are ComPsych employees who are providing that guidance and education. Now, if you need a referral to someone local in your area because you need some sort of in-person representation, we do have local referrals that we can refer you to. And by going through the EAP, if you were to retain them for any reason, you would receive a 25% discount off of their legal fees, just by utilizing them through the Employee Assistance Program. On our website, we also have a lot of legal content and training resources on a lot of common legal concerns that you can see on our website on GuidanceResources.com. And I will say both the legal and financial services and these work-life research services that I'm talking about, those are unlimited. So I'm going to go back in the slide for just 1 second and say our counseling is that 5 session model per person, per issue, per year. But when it comes to these work-life services, these are all unlimited telephonic support. So you can call in at any point to receive or have an appointment with our attorneys or our financial experts. So let me talk about the financial experts and our financial services. So everything I just said about the legal services is the exact same thing for our financial services. So we have a team of certified financial planners who do the exact same thing. They'll meet with you to talk about financial guidance and education. And that can be for things like budgeting, debt, credit, real estate, estate planning, savings, and again, a whole lot more. And again, I want to stress that this program is confidential, so no one will know that you're using it unless you choose to share that. And number two, it's objective. So I do want to be clear with the financial piece. We're not trying to sell you anything or enroll you in a program. This is all ComPsych hired team members, certified financial planners who provide you with guidance and education. So it's less about, hey, I think you should invest in this particular stock. And it's more about, hey, I'm moving and I want to buy a house in 2 years, but my credit is not great. What can I do to get my credit to a better place? And that financial planner, they're going to help you find ways to do that. Or maybe you know that you have a 401k accessible through your employment, but you have no idea what that means or how to start. We can provide you with that guidance and education to make sure that you are making the best choice for yourself. And again, these work life services are confidential and objective as well. Now, just some examples. I'm not going to cover all of them, but just so you can see the types of work-life research that we've done in the past, we have had requests on finding a local pet chiropractor. We've had people look for help with maybe finding utility assistance or food pantries. We've also had people call in about mini golf vacations that include, senior special rates. So you can use these research services for a lot of different types of things. Again, photographers, those who, masseuse, um, you know, physical therapists, things like that. So this tool, this work life service, can really help you in your day-to-day life. I know for me, I work 9 to 5, and I have a pretty busy home life, so I don't always have the time to sit down and figure out how do I do something. So to know that someone in this program at Guidance Resources could help provide you with that benefit, I think that can really save you a lot of time. So I highly encourage you to use it if you ever want to, of course. Now, in addition to those work life and clinical services, we also offer well-being coaching. Now, well-being coaching is a flexible coaching model. What that means is that our coaches will work with you on your needs, and our coaches here at ComPsych are in-house, and they're behavioral change specialists. So their role really, and their scope, if you will, is for lower acuity mental health concerns or everyday challenges. So things like burnout, time management, goal setting, maybe focusing in on intentional eating or things of that nature. And one of my favorite things about our coaching program is people leverage it in a very flexible way. So maybe you have 2 meetings with a coach to talk about time management, and then to hold yourself accountable, you schedule a third session 2 months later. So you can really work with our coaches to get support and be a part of a supportive program. A lot of people have a really close relationship with their coach, and this might be a better way for you to be introduced into our program. So maybe counseling is not right for you. Maybe you just need some help with goal setting. Talking to a coach, it can be a really great benefit for those who might not feel ready or maybe don't meet the need of having that clinical support. What I will say though is all of our services at ComPsych are in-house. And that's important for me to highlight because if you talk to a coach about goal setting, maybe in that conversation, our coach learns that maybe in addition to this coaching, you'd also benefit from a financial benefit or a clinical benefit. We can ensure that you're connected back to the appropriate service because everything is housed in-house here at ComPsych. Now, really quickly, I'm going to answer one question because I see it in the chat. It's relevant to this particular slide. Someone asked how many sessions are allowed with a coach. It's a flexible 5-session model. So that means typically most coaching needs are finished within 5 sessions. But that doesn't mean you're limited to just 5 if there is a need for more or a need for less. Now, in addition, of course, to all these amazing services that you can call in to receive, we do have our website, Guidance Resources Online, and I'm going to be covering this at the very end, so I'm not going to go too into depth on this slide. But again, for those who love to self-serve or maybe like to preview information first, you can go to our website, create an account under Virginia Beach, and like Stephanie mentioned earlier, you'll want to type in exactly as you see, all caps, no spaces, Virginia Beach, one word. And you'll then receive access to on-demand trainings on things like finance or health. You can look up local child care, elder care, local financial experts. There's even sometimes discounts that are available through our website to other services. And then, of course, you'll be able to get connected to services as well through our website. Now, again, I'll cover this at the very end, but one of the amazing benefits available to you through the program is access to computerized cognitive behavioral therapy, or CCBT for short. And this is accessed initially through Guidance Resources Online. So when you're online, and again, I'll show you this, I would recommend signing up for an account, and you'll receive you'll download, or you can use the website, the COA app, which focuses in on mental health and overall well-being. So there's modules and activities that focus on things like breathing, sleeping, mood, general sort of mental health as well. And the way that you work through these modules is on activity. So there are videos you can watch, audio you can listen to, polls that you can take, journaling and games, and a whole lot more. So I would encourage you to create an account with COA, and this can be accessed through the Guidance Resources website, and we'll cover this again at the very end. In addition, also on our website, you have access to ComPsych huddles, and huddles are single session online groups that focus on a particular topic. So maybe you're looking for help with finding ways to sleep better. Maybe you want to be more active during your workday. For me, I work from home most of the time. I have a walking pad that I use because otherwise I probably would never do anything. So, for example, we have different sessions that focus in on popular topics, and you can join these topics that are live and hear from an expert. So on our website, there will be a huddles tab that you can access and see what is up and coming and the different types of wellness groups that we have put together that you can always join. I do encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later, as registration is capped. So if there is a topic that is of particular interest, I would highly recommend that you sign up for it when you see it. I think that would be a really great benefit. Now, I'm going to pause there again and see if there are any questions that you've been holding in, or maybe any questions in the chat that haven't yet been answered. Feel free to drop those in the chat again, and we can go ahead and get those answered for you today before we go ahead and move on.
Robert, I was wondering, as I'm looking at the questions, if you could clarify a couple of points. So could you please clarify for us which services through ComPsych Guidance Resources are available to the household members?
Yeah, great question. So I'm happy to say everything. So everything that we're talking about today, whether it's counseling, financial, legal, work-life coaching, everything that I'm talking about is available to your household members as well. So for the website, for example, they will need to independently register or they will need to independently call to use our services, but they don't need to get, your permission, if you will. As long as they have our phone number and the same information here today, they'll be able to access all of the exact same benefits.
Great, thank you. And also, I believe earlier on in the presentation, you mentioned that because of the app and online resources, we were able to access the services at our personal convenience. And I was wondering if you could just clarify exactly what you mean by personal convenience.
Sure. So personal convenience, I guess I really just mean whether you are, at work, whether you are at home, maybe you're taking public transportation into your job, maybe you are in an Uber, maybe you're, I will say for myself personally, there have been times where, before bed is often when my mind is most, my mind can be most heavy. So for myself, I actually have the Guidance Now app on my phone, and there have been times I've opened it up and popped it open just to look at resources on anxiety because it helps me sort of calm down in the moment. So by personal convenience, I really just mean you can access this benefit anywhere. You're not just limited to using it during your workday. You can use it outside of work at any point throughout the year, and it's just personally convenient to you.
Great. I did have one more for you, and then I do see some questions coming through that feel be well related. But regarding guidance resources, we did have a question come over asking, does the staff referring guide us to a particular counselor or to a list of counselors that we can pick from? And just the suggestion that it can feel overwhelming to pick one. So I think they're hopeful that they can be assigned someone that can meet their needs.
Yeah, good. That's a really good question. So thank you for asking that. So when you're calling into services and you're triage with our guidance consultant, you're going to be given a referral to one person that's local. So we can provide a list of people on request if that is something that the individual prefers. But I would recommend that they bring that up during that sort of intake call. But no, typically, as you mentioned, Stephanie, and many times when people are calling to utilize our services, they can feel pretty overwhelmed. So our intention is to provide them the best match in their local area so that they don't have to do a ton of work and additional research. ComPsych is really the one doing that for them when they call.
Great. And then the one I'd like to address for Be Well, I've seen it a couple of times. So Be Well does provide an incentive for completing certain activities within COA Care 360. And we did become aware that there's been a delay in rewarding those activities. So we do want to encourage users to please continue taking advantage of the resource. We will be working to get those rewards caught up. So anything that you do that meets those rewards criteria will be rewarded soon. And so we appreciate your patience with that. And then going forward in the future, those rewards will happen typically within about 24 hours. Rewards should be uploaded on a daily basis. So you may not see it as soon as you complete the activity, but you should be seeing it within the next 24 hours. And then for account access issues, you can also contact Guidance Resources directly. So if you're having difficulty signing in or accessing anything on your account, you can contact them at that number that Robert provided earlier, 866-365-0793. And we are still continuing to monitor the Q&A chat, so feel free to put any other questions there, and we'll get to them as soon as we can.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Stephanie. So I see here there are a couple questions in the chat that I'll address pretty quickly, and then I'll go ahead and jump back in. So one person asked, how do you get to the Huddles tab? Are you going to show us? Is it just on the app? Is it a live session? So yes, I will go ahead and show you how to access that tab, and that is accessible on GuidanceResources.com. You can access that on the app, but you can also access it directly on the website as well. And yes, it will be a live session. So there will be a registration process, of course, but you will be automatically approved. And of course, there obviously is no cost in that as well. One person asked if our chats are being recorded. There is a recording of the session, so this session is being recorded, but the Q&A will not be within that recording. Me verbally answering the questions will be, but you won't be able to see the questions that other people are asking. And then someone asked personal convenience. The slide shows personal convenience as a use for the work-life benefit. What does it mean in that regard? So personal convenience within context of work-life services just means, and I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to say personal convenience means anything. So if there is something in your life that you think you need help with, I would call ComPsych and ask us to research that for you. So we sort of say personal convenience as a catch-all. So typically people might use this service, this research service, for finding childcare, elder care, maybe schools or apartments or things like that. But people use it for a lot of unique things. So by personal convenience, that could be finding a contractor to help put new windows in your home. Maybe that's support group for those who might need support with alcohol or substance abuse. Maybe it is you are a member of the LGBTQIA community and you're looking for LGBTQIA friendly vacation spots. So it can really be leveraged in a lot of different ways. And I think the way that it gets leveraged depends on you. So if you have a need in your personal life and you want us to look and research it, we can do that for you. So by personal convenience, I sort of just mean whatever's personal to you. I also met when we contact the GuidanceResources.com and talk with a person that guides us. Is that recorded if we do it verbally or as a chat? That's a great question. So our phone calls are not recorded, but let me go ahead and actually take a look at how the website is leveraged, and I can get an answer to the Be Well team, and we can make sure that that's communicated back. So great question. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slides as we're running a little bit low on time, but I will go ahead and bring us back to questions at the very end. So the first thing I'll say is I'm not going to drag this particular slide out because I'll be doing a live demo of the website, but just an example of how the Guidance Now app looks. You have options for your journey, and I'll explain that in a little bit. You can see how you're connected to local support, whether that be talking with an expert online or over the phone. You can be guided to whatever resources are best for you. And you can also see how you are assessed. And I promise this is not someone just guessing. There's a methodology, if you will, to how you're assessed, and we'll cover that. And then, of course, if you're a returning user, you'll have these options available to you as well. Now, when you register, and I actually can tell from a lot of you in the Q&A that you are already registering. So thank you so much for doing that. I love, love, love that. But if you aren't quite there yet, you can go to GuidanceResources.com, click this register button, enter that web ID of Virginia Beach, all one word, all caps, no spaces, and then you'll create a profile for yourself with a username, a password that's unique to you. And then you'll get a verification code that you can then put here and then make sure that your account is verified. Now, I will answer one more question because someone just put this in the chat and it's pretty relevant. Do we use our work or personal email to register? That's completely dependent on you. You can choose whatever email is best for you. The email that you use, to add on to that, the email that you use is not what gives you access. It's that Virginia Beach code. So by putting in the word Virginia Beach, the website will automatically pull up the appropriate benefits for you. Now, we already talked a bit about what the experience of utilizing the services is, so I'm not going to go through this sort of chart with you, but what I will say is, again, these services can be accessed online and over the phone, and there's a lot of different access points for you. So if maybe talking on the phone isn't your strong suit or your preference, you can go on our website, or you can get connected over chat or through our app within Guidance Now. And you can access all of these same holistic services, the coaching, the counseling, the financial and work-life services. Those are all here as well. And I think a lot of people, when they, it's not that I'm asking that you use this service right now. No, but what I want you to take away, sort of like that third point that I was talking about, is that this service is available to you when you need it. We are happy to meet you where you are when you need that assistance. And so people can often come to us with high anxiety, or they can come to us with some identified issue, and we can help provide some support to people in those situations so that they feel those issues less. So it's really great to have a benefit like this available to you when you'd like to use it. Now, before we jump into the website, I'm going to use this space as an opportunity to answer some FAQ questions that we typically get. But as you think of questions, feel free to drop these in the Q&A as well. So the first question that we typically get is, do I need to enroll? And the answer to that is no, you are enrolled automatically as an active employee. Number two, how much does it cost? Nothing. It's a free benefit. Who can use the program? It's all active employees and their household family members. How do I access the program? We've covered that one quite a bit, so I'm not going to belabor that point, but the number and website are here. And it is, again, available 24/7, 365. So it is something that is available whenever you need it, regardless of the day or the time. And then lastly, and probably my favorite part of the program, which is that the services are indeed confidential. So no information about your personal participation is provided back to your employer. Now, before I jump into the website demo, I'm just going to look at our Q&A here and see if any questions came in. Okay, so this is a more of a personal question, but I am going to read it aloud. So if anyone has the same issue, they know how to address this, which is that one person has said that they have used this service before with another employee, and it's not allowing them to register their email. Is there a way to reset this? So yes, so there are a couple options if you ever used ComPsych before. You can either use a new email if you want to. You can use a new email and sign up for a new account. If you don't want to do that and you no longer work with this other organization, there should be a contact us tab at the bottom of the Guidance Resources website that goes to our member services. And if you reach out to them, they'll be able to get that email switched over or turned off so you can create a new account, or you can always send an email to the Be Well team, and they can reach out to their ComPsych account manager, who can get that taken care of for you. And then one other person, actually, no, I see a member of the Be Well team already answered that, so we're all set to move on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to belabor all the contact information on you again, but I'm going to leave this slide up for just a second in case you want to download the apps. There are QR codes here to either download on the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, or you can follow us on LinkedIn should you choose to do so. The web ID and phone number are here as well. And then, of course, if there are questions that I have not answered, you can always reach out to the Be Well email, and the Be Well team, by email, and receive that assistance as well. But just as a reminder, the Be Well team is in the Q&A today, answering questions that are within their scope. So I'm going to go ahead and pause there and then stop sharing my screen. The reason that I'm going to stop sharing my screen is so that I can actually pull up the website and actually show you how the website works in real time. So give me one quick second. I am pulling this up. And all right, let me share my screen once more. One second. All right, so I currently am on the Guidance Resources website at the login screen. So I have a test login that I'll be using, but if you wanted to, you could go to register here, and that's going to pop open. That will pop open your registration information, where you can sign up for an account. So when you're ready, you'll go ahead and click log in. And what that will do is take you to GuidanceResources.com. Now you're going to be greeted by a few different areas. For example, in the upper right corner, there's going to be a series of icons that you can click. There's a search bar where you can search for resources. You could type in something like anxiety, and it's going to show you all of the resources that we have that are about anxiety. And of course, you can see quite a bit. You can click this little house that will take you back to the home page. There's an American flag here, and that's to change the language that you have access to. So maybe you prefer reading and speaking in Spanish. You can change this to Spanish. You can also click this bell. This is for breaking news, if you will, or resources that are relevant. So this is often leveraged when there's like a hurricane or a natural disaster where those localized resources are really important. So we call that World Watch. We also have next to that your program, so you can look at your profile or learn about your program. And then of course we have this log out button that will log you out. You'll also notice this Connect Me Now feature. And when you click that, it gives you two options. You can either talk with an expert over the phone or find a local coach available to you. Now, before we jump into the rest of the website, I want to really encourage you to sign up and create an account. When you do that, though, you can either, how do I say? You can start your journey. That's how we say it, right? So you can either get connected immediately to services, you can be guided towards services, or you can be assessed. So my recommendation is always when you're utilizing these services for the first time is to use the Assess Me tool. What the Assess Me tool does, if you were to click it, is it allows you to take an assessment. And within that assessment, you're going to be answering questions on 6 key pillars for mental health, social health, physical health, emotional, legal, and financial health. And then you're going to receive results on that. So you're going to get scores for each of these pillars. And that's relevant because what that then does is it creates a plan based upon your score of these 6 pillars. So for me, for example, when I took this last, I needed quite a bit of help on my financial health. And so I received a lot of my resources here on Guidance Resources. A lot of my resources were financial based, how to save money, how to better pay off credit card debt, things of that nature. So your plan will be customized to you based upon this assessment here. And then, of course, you can complete these modules and activities and resources and then reassess at a later time. So maybe you take this today and then you forget about the benefit and don't check it for 2 years. You come back in 2 years, you can take that assessment again. Or you come back in 2 weeks and you're in a completely different headspace, you can take it in 2 weeks. Or maybe you're in the middle of the program and you don't feel the same way anymore, so you want to retake it. You can retake it at your leisure. So that's the Assess Me option. You can also go to Browse All Services. And what this will do is bring up a general screen that sort of lists out all of our benefits. So you can look at resources by category. You could look at wellness resources, legal resources, working abroad resources, things like that. You have your Connect to Care options here at the top. And then you also have your additional tools and resources. So one person previously asked about huddles. How do you access that? So you can go ahead and click the huddles tool here, which will allow you to register for any open topics. That COA app or COA experience that I was talking about, you can access that here by clicking digital self-care tools. There's also searches for childcare, attorneys, and on-demand trainings, and a whole lot of other resources that are available for you here if you prefer to sort of self-serve, if you will. So that is our website, GuidanceResources.com. I really encourage you to sign up for an account and take the journey and see how these resources can be available for you. So I know we have about 6 minutes left, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen one more time. And I'm going to put the PowerPoint back on that final slide, just so you can see, again, the access points and how you access services. And then I'm going to go ahead and stay on our call today to see what questions are in the chat. And then Stephanie, I know you're still here. If you want to come off of mute, if there's any questions that you want to address, I'm happy to answer those for you. And of course, give you that space to answer the Be Well specific questions as well. All right, so let me take a look here through the questions and see what's still open. I see one question that says, when a user accesses huddles, will they be interacting only with staff of Virginia Beach or users from other employers as well? There will be anyone, so anyone can sign up for our huddles by accessing it on our website. I can double check that as well with our huddles team just to make sure. But as far as I understand, it will be available to all those who access that service via Guidance Resources online. So it could be possible that there are other users as well. Someone's asking huddles and question marks. So huddles is basically, we have a team of people at ComPsych, and that can be dietitians, clinicians, financial experts who will hold hour sessions on new and exciting topics or relevant topics. So let's say we're seeing a lot of people in, let's say, life looking for help on finding better ways to sleep. We might create a huddle on sleep management and have an expert in that field come together and provide support in a virtual space for those who might want to register. I'm not seeing any other questions come in. I see a couple thank yous. So thank you as well for being so patient with me. I know I'm quite a talker, so I really appreciate everyone remaining on the line. Stephanie, was there anything you'd want to add today before we get close to wrapping up?
Yeah, I do. I did want to revisit huddles once more since you just brought that up. Can you please clarify, when a user accesses huddles, are they interacting with people outside of Virginia Beach, or will they be interacting strictly with people who are staff and household members of Virginia Beach? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
sorry. I'm
clarify.
being told that you answered that.
No, it's okay. It's a good question. I think it never hurts to answer a second time. Huddles is accessible for all people who utilize services, not just those within the Virginia Beach population. But I do want to clarify exactly how that works because I want to make sure that we provide you with the best information. So I'll talk to our huddles team to get more details on the specifics, but it should be accessible to all users of the Guidance Resources program, not just those within Virginia Beach. But I'll give you a more full answer later this week.
Great. And then the only other thing I wanted to address from the Be Well side, I do know that there have been some questions about the rewarding for CoaCare activities. So a couple of clarifications. Again, we are working on getting that rewarding caught up for the year and then moving into more automated rewards. But on top of that, frequently in Personify Health, there are activities that you can click the action in the How to Earn chart in order to go to that resource. And in the case of CoaCare, because that is an app that requires an account, you're not going to be able to access it that way. So you can get to CoaCare through the Benefits tab. You can also access the CoaCare app directly or sign into it online, but you will not be able to access it from that rewards page. So I believe that those were the only clarifications that we really felt on the Be Well side.
Perfect. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here today and learning about this amazing benefit. I really encourage you to use it. Talk to your friends and your household members about it. I think it can really make a difference. But just know, again, this is 24/7, 365, and we're here to support you with whatever you need and whenever you need it. So Stephanie, I'm going to go ahead and keep everything open until we hit 4:30. But if you don't have anything else that you'd like to share, Stephanie, I'll go ahead and close the session out as soon as we hit the top of the hour, the top of the half hour.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Of course, thank you. And thanks, everybody. All right, we have hit the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and close the session out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your Be Well team, or if you'd like to utilize the Guidance Resources benefit, again, here's our website and contact information. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week.